the Medellin, I guess, government or police department has its hands full trying to protect their own people, with thieves and robbers and people kidnaps, extortion with their own Colombian people. So it's like the way they see it, and you guys don't know this, and you guys aren't going to agree with this. It's like these gringos are coming in, they're getting into bad stuff, they're doing bad stuff, they're with women, they're doing drugs, all this other stuff. Why are we going to protect them if they just come here for that? And so we need to protect our own people. And Medellin doesn't depend on tourism. Colombia doesn't depend on tourism solely. It does help out, but it's not their number one. Their number one thing, I think, is coffee and oil. I believe so. And so the way they look at it is, we're not going to waste our time, resources, watching out for these people that are coming here for no good. We need to protect our own people. We don't care what happens to them. That's the answer.
Wow. I mean, it makes sense. I guess it does make sense to proceed at your own risk. So I don't know if you brought this up earlier a second ago, but have you had any situation where you've been robbed or you've been harmed or drugged?
No. I mean, from the time I got there, um, I want to say a week. Um, as an expat, you're gonna find out what's the reality of the situation. That it's not gravy. It's real stuff going out there. And I always kept that security protocol, and thank Lord, nothing ever happened to me.
Okay. And would you say that there's some neighborhoods or because I know in a lot of countries, if you want to avoid crime, you can just go live in a certain part of town. Do you think that that doesn't apply to Medellin?
Damn, my brother, that's an excellent question, man. That's an excellent question. I got an excellent response for you. Anywhere I have gone in the world, I grew up in New York, and then I did 10 years in Georgia, in Atlanta. Anywhere in the world I lived, you can pay a lot of money and live in a rich neighborhood, and nothing won't happen to you. Colombia is the only place that I've been to that you can't do that. That you can't. There is no safe neighborhood. You can't pay to be in Strata Six or in Poblado or wherever and pay good money to be safe. As a matter of fact, if you're in Strata Six and Poblado, you're much unsafer in that neighborhood, because when somebody wants an iPhone or something like that, a thief wants an iPhone, they're going to Parkers, they're going to Poblado. So it's actually unsafer. If such a thing existed, I would have still been there, and I would have paid the top dollar to live in the top neighborhood. But unfortunately, and I don't understand. I lived in New York. I lived in Atlanta. There was prestigious neighborhoods that nothing would happen to you and all this other stuff. And Colombia is that one place where I've been to, and they don't have an area that's just protected. And Poblado, all this other stuff, is not protected at all. So it's kind of crazy, man.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, definitely doesn't sound like it's worth it. So, any issues with taxi drivers? Like, have you ever had taxi drivers that try to participate in crime, or is that normal for taxi drivers to do that there?
That's an excellent question, my brother. I'm gonna give you guys the sauce. Um, I was shout out. I'm gonna say who my favorite YouTuber is. Shout out to the Flyboy Way. He's my favorite YouTuber. He's been traveling longer than anybody. I think 15, 20 years. He was what brought me to the travel space. But he was saying, I read one thing one day, or saw a video where he was like, should I go to Barra Ejecutiva in the central, in the ghetto, or should I go to La Isla in Poblado, in the high end area? And I was like, what people don't even know about that is, bro, you might not even make it to the club. And you're like, what do you mean? You might not even make it to a club. You might get in a car, bro, and you might end up in a river somewhere, or in the back of a trunk of a car somewhere. I mean, you might end up dead, because the transportation there can be dangerous, man. I would say that I'm giving you guys the real sauce. I would say that 8 out of 10 cars, the tag doesn't match the Uber account. It's a different
I've
car.
seen
It's a
that.
different tag all the time. 7 out of 10 times. Another component is 8 out of 10 times the driver doesn't match the account. It might be the right car, but now you get in the car, the driver doesn't match the Uber account. It's his photo. It might be a cousin, a friend driving that account. They lease these accounts. You could pay. You could rent these accounts. You don't know. God forbid that car just got stolen. Somebody could have used that. They stole that car. They got the car. They got the phone with the Uber account, and they could rob and kill anybody, and that happens consistently. And so when I first arrived there a week, I went on a date, and I was with this chick, and she was like, no, 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 my guy has to come get us. I'm like, why? Why are we gonna wait for him 30 minutes? And not just pick up a taxi or Uber? And she was like, because it's dangerous, especially at night. You're better off waiting for a person 30, 40 minutes and getting in one of these cars. The tag don't match the car. If the tag matches the car, then the driver don't match the account, you know? And so it's a lot of things. It's very, very dangerous. So to revert back to my original point with Flyboy Away, he was like, yo, which club do I go to? My brother, you might not even make it to the club. It's reality.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's absolutely crazy.
Crazy, right? See,
Yeah.
it's a different level of danger, and nobody knows this stuff, and nobody talks about it. So I said, I don't want to be arrogant, but I'm the most qualified person probably on the planet to talk about Medellin.
I would say that was and it's more common even with Bolt. I thought Uber was always safer for that, but I know with Bolt, in every country I've been to, it seems like their tags, or except for maybe Thailand, that their tags don't match. Like the information doesn't match what you see in person. But the face does.
But think
So
about this for a second, bro. You about to go to the club or you about to go to wherever you go, and it's not even in the back of your mind. Like, hey, I'm jumping in this car. I could end up in a river somewhere or in the back of a truck somewhere, in the back of a trunk of a car. It's not even in your mind. You thinking, oh, I'm about to go to the club, all this other stuff. And it's so much of these accounts that are just not, you don't know where they came from. You don't know where these people came from.
yeah, yeah, I could imagine that. So you mentioned this earlier. Can you mention it one more time so everybody can be clarified with
Sure.
this? How did you ensure that your safety was better than others when you were in Medellin? You said you had a bodyguard.
So what I did was, it's so cheap. It's so cheap. Just have a person with you at all times, even if you're out 3 4 hours. Just pay them their hourly rate because it's better to have somebody watching over you than you being out by yourself. I'm fully capable of being out. I speak 100% Spanish. I know the city very well. I even blend in with the local. Well, probably not because I'm like 6 foot tall. I'm tall, but I can easily navigate around by myself. But it's so cheap. Why not just pay somebody? And in the 5 years I was there, nothing ever happened to me with that tight security protocol. If I have a female in the house, somebody needs to be sitting on my couch in my living room playing TikTok or whatever it is. If anything happens, they're there for me, and they also pick up the date and they drop them off as well. And I still have security from the building downstairs. But it's about protecting yourself, man, because this is not a normal country. And again, I love the Medellin people, I love the Colombian people, but this is not a normal country like PR or DR or Brazil.
Do you think that your security and your front desk can become corrupted at some point?
Absolutely, man. So that's an excellent question, my brother. So here's the test, the litmus test that how I got my driver. Um, if you forget a phone in a taxi, 9 out of 10 times they ain't gonna return it. 9 out of 10 times they're not going to return the phone. So if I left a phone in a taxi and the guy returns it, that's a guy I want to keep. And my guy, I knew where he lives. I stayed at his house before. He owns his house. He owns apartments. That's the kind of people you want. And how many drivers did I blow through? Hundreds of them. I mean, it's hard to get good people. If anybody wants to come, I don't recommend right now coming to Medellin. You're better off going to Cartagena and hitting up danger. But if you want to come to Medellin, I will give you my guy, my personal guy who owns a house, who owns apartments, who's been a cab driver, owns his car and everything like that. That's a person I trust. I wouldn't recommend going out there, but if you guys can reach out to me, and I will supply that. But basically, if you leave your phone in the car, I left my phone in the car. He returned it. I knew that was a solid guy. Oh, and look at the phone that I have, guys. This is it. So I have a saying over there. I think this phone's 8, 10 years old. I have a saying over there, and I could have a brand new one just like you guys. But here's the thing: I have a saying over there. If I see somebody with a phone like that at 13 or 14, I say, "Hey, man, you got 3 seconds." They're like, "3 seconds for what?" 3 seconds before your head is on your lap and your phone is gone, because that phone, bro, is $1,000. That phone is 6 months' salary for these people. It's not a joke. It's not a game, man. So you guys are walking around with $1,000 phone. That $1,000 phone is 6 months salary for you. They only make $200, 207, 219, something like that. So I have a eight. This phone is 8 years old, 10 years old, and again, I could have a shiny new one like you guys and all this other stuff. But I have this because this looks like a Android phone or regular phone. It's just cheap. They looking for the ones with the 3 cameras. So I say that I say, hey, you got 3 seconds till your head is on your lap and your phone is gone.
Wow. So
Yep.
what was your tipping point? When was it like, okay, you know what, this is enough? What did you experience that day that made you decide you was gonna go back to the States and leave Medellin?
Yeah, that's a good question, my brother. So basically, I kind of regret a little bit of me regrets being in Medellin for so long, and I'll tell you why. And a lot of guys just get comfortable and they're there for ages and years and all this other stuff. And same thing happens in DR and Brazil and all this other stuff. But here's what was my tipping point is that I was there 5 years. I kind of regret it because imagine, bro, I could have done 6 months in other countries, like 6 months in let's say Paraguay, 6 months Uruguay, 6 months Argentina, 6 months, 6 months, and I was just 5 years, and I kind of wasted my youth in Medellin. It's cool, I love it, but it's like I could have been in other places, So that was kind of my tipping point, and then I didn't want the pressure of just that danger everywhere. I go. It's just potential danger.
Mm, yeah, yeah, I can definitely see that. So you feel like it's more dangerous in Medellin than it is in New York, where you're at right now?
Hmm? Absolutely, man. I would say that because the problem again, I love my Colombian people. I got to keep saying that, but Medellin, it's got no control, man. You can, there's people that got robbed. Well, first of all, if they steal a phone, they get let out immediately because that's called like if it wasn't a violent, they'll get let out immediately. They don't even have enough jails to house these people. And I'll give you guys another insight, which I'm hoping we touch on it down the road. But even the police can steal from you there. People don't know this, but people don't know this, but in Medellin, well, not in Medellin, the Colombian police, you have to, if you want to become a police officer, you have to buy your uniform. I have to buy it because there's so much impersonations and all this other stuff and uniforms going missing and all this other stuff. You have to buy your uniform, man. And a lot of people, a lot of poor people, they don't even have the money to come up to pay for the academy and pay for those uniforms to even become a police officer.
Damn,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.